Hello, how are you all doing? I'm going to, as always, take a moment real quick and hit the live button on Instagram. And awesome, we are now live everywhere, I hope. And of course, I just about missed 12 o'clock today because I was here early and then decided to get some other stuff done because I was so early and then almost missed it. All right, so we have some people joining over on Instagram, which is awesome. Oh, and look, we've already got Monica and Sarah. Nice. Where's my mouse? There it is. We have Monica over on YouTube and Sarah here on Facebook, which means we've had somebody check in from every site. So I know that we are working. And this is the Wednesday live with the Foundry. I finally have a voice and I am not sick, and it is awesome. Hello, Karen B Designs on Instagram. So that is absolutely great. And the one thing I did, of course, forget was I needed a piece of paper and a pencil. Here we go. Look at that. A piece of paper and a writing implement. I have a Craft Tours pen. That'll work. Because I want to get ideas from all of you awesome people today. So, Crochet Foundry, right? We have the magazine. It is awesome. It is wonderful. You are so going to love the June issue, and they're going to keep on being awesome and totally wonderful and great. And oh my goodness, I'm very, very happy with everything. All right. What I would like to do with the Jessie at Home, yes, that is my other site. With the Crochet Foundry site, we have the blog attached to the site, which currently has almost entirely just the interviews with the designers about the patterns in the magazine. We are keeping those. Those are not going away. I send out a little review fill in to all the designers, and if they choose to fill them in, then we put them on the blog. And if they are an affiliate with Crochet Foundry, the links inside their interview are actually their affiliate links. Since they do not get paid to do the interview, it is an option. Since they're not paid to do the interview, they are legally allowed to put in their affiliate link for Crochet Foundry, which means if you read an interview about one of the designers, I started this in February. So if you read an interview from one of the designers in one of the issues, then any of the links that are in that interview that will take you to the magazine to purchase it, those links are actually the affiliate links that are for the designer, which means if you purchase the magazine, if you go click on one of their links and go to the Crochet Foundry page, Crochet Foundry website, and purchase the magazine, they are going to get their commission, which is awesome. It's a way that I can help them make a little bit more money other than just the design fee for each pattern, and a way that I can say thank you for doing the interview. So that's nice to know. Then in addition to those, I would like to start adding more interviews and articles and tutorials and just good information for all of you. And I would also like to put in a couple directories. So what I would love today is to hear from all of you about what you would like to see on the blog. So the directories that I already know that I'm going to put in there is I'm going to have a crochet for charity directory. So what that means is anything that any charity organization that you can crochet and donate things to, I want to put in there. So that is one of the directories, is a crochet for charity directory. Um, and oh my goodness, there were so many others, and they're all gonna, this is why I have the little piece of paper and a little pen, because my mind, poof. um I know that for the designers, I don't know if I'm going to make this a public list or not, but definitely for the designers, I'm going to have a directory of testers. Some of them have wonderful testers that they use a lot, and some of them sometimes they don't have testers that they use. So I want to have a little directory of those, which means any of you who would like to be a tester should go ahead and reach out to me at support@crochetfoundry.com. I am going to ask you um, to kind of show me that you're going to be a good tester, which means I would want to see some, if you have projects on Ravelry or something like that, where I can see, here's the pattern, here's what you made. Yes, it looks like you made what you were you need to, as a tester, you need to follow the pattern exactly. I know that as makers, a lot of times we get creative when we make something from a pattern, and that is awesome when you're making it, for your own means, to give away, to sell, to blah blah blah, whatever. As a tester, you have to follow the pattern exactly, because you're testing the pattern. You are not tech editing the pattern, so you're not your point isn't to, like, they made a typo or their math doesn't work. Those things should have been discovered before the patterns were given to the testers. In we're working on getting our schedule to the point where our patterns have been tech edited and then given back to the designers, and then the designers send them out to the testers, so that the pattern has already been tech edited. The testers are there to show, to make sure that it really is as clear as everybody thought it was, to show what the pattern looks like in different yarns, so we don't necessarily want you to use the exact same yarn that the designer used. Maybe the designer used a yarn that's got a higher price point, and you want to do one in a yarn that is more attainable for everybody. Maybe the designer used a yarn that is not available in your area, and so you're going to use one that is available in your area, or just anything, just a different yarn. And of course, a different size. If the pattern is a pattern that has different sizes, then we definitely want the testers to be making a size different than the one the designer made for their sample. And then, of course, providing some photos of that. So if you are interested in being a tester for Crochet Foundry designers, I would just need to see that, yes, you are capable of following a pattern. And you would definitely need to be able to do a swatch first. Okay. I know as a designer, when I have testers, the first thing I have them do is, first they have to show me a picture of the yarn, so I know that they have all the yarn they need. Okay, so they show me a picture of their pile of yarn and their crochet hook. Okay, and I'm like, okay, cool, you've got your supplies. Yay, woohoo! Then the next thing I have them do is send me a picture of their gauge swatch with either two rulers, or a picture with a ruler this way and then a picture of the ruler this way. So I can see that they got gauge. Okay, so you will need to be capable of making a gauge swatch. If the gauge is a 4-inch square, then you would need to make at least a 6-inch square. You always want to make your gauge swatch at least 1 inch in every direction larger than what you're measuring. So if it's a 4-inch gauge, then your swatch would need to be 6-inch. If the gauge is across 8 inches, your swatch would need to be 10 inches. And then you lay the ruler on it and take a really clear photo so that the designer can count 1, 2, 3 and see how many stitches are in 4, 6, 8, however many inches the swatch says. And then you move the ruler the other way and you take another photo so that the designer can make sure that you have the right number of rows. Then from there, you get to start. And again, when I am the designer, I will usually have points in the pattern where I say, at this point, please send me a photo. Wait until I've replied to move forward. It all depends on the designer and how they're used to working with testers. And also, once designers get to know you, they may not have you go through as many of those steps. Okay. Um, but if they do, know that there's a reason. They want to make sure that the pattern is getting properly tested. Hi, Yarn Armor. I'm so glad you finally made a live. That's wonderful. Oops. There we go. Here we are. Nice. So yes, we are currently talking about being a tester, a crochet pattern tester. So yes, anybody who is interested in being a crochet pattern tester, those are kind of some of the criteria. And if you are, then go ahead and send an email to support@crochetfoundry.com. Let me see. I'm pretty sure that there is oh, no, there's not. Let me create a banner then. I thought there was a banner already that had the email on it, and there is not. There probably was, and silly me probably deleted it or something. So I will get that up, in a moment, as soon as I can properly spell Crochet Foundry, foundry.com. Spelling and talking at the same time is hard. Okay, so there you go. Go ahead and send an email there if you are interested in becoming a tester. And please know that it will probably be, if you send it to me like in the next few days, it will probably not be until next week that I get back to you, because I'm in the process of getting the final stuff done on the final little bits on the June issue, and I'm a little busy right now. So, sometimes it takes a few days for me to get back to you, or maybe not till next week. Alrighty. Then let's see. I would love, that's not what I was trying to do. I would definitely love to hear from any of you. Here we go. Testing is really fun. I recommend it if you haven't. Oh, awesome. Cool. Yes. So I guess, these photos are small. I must have met you. Yes. Okay. The tiny little photos, and sometimes it's hard to recognize people when it's not your name. Oh, and let's see, we also have oh, nope, I thought I saw another comment on Instagram. All right, other directories. We have charities that you can crochet for. Testers, other directories you all would like to see. Oh, okay. See, now I remember you. I love that name. I think I told you I love that name. One of my dearest friends has a daughter named Katrina. So, other directories you all would like to see. We're going to have, how in the back of the magazine there's a list of stitches that, like, the common stitches that everybody uses, everybody knows, such as single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, and everything. See, Monica is like so on point here. We are going to have that list on the site, and I'm going to write this down so I remember that I said it, so I don't say it again. It is the stitch definition list. So it'll have the abbreviations, it'll have the name of the stitch, and then there will be like it'll be linked, and each link will take you to a tutorial. Obviously, this is going to take a little while. We need to make sure we have all the tutorials, but it will give you the written instructions. It'll give you a photo tutorial. It'll give you a video tutorial. It'll all be there in one post, a tutorial for how to do each of those stitches. Okay. I also would like to have it so that when we have any special stitches we have in an issue, I would love to have those happening as well as tutorials on the site. It's just going to be a matter of um, either life getting a little less busy for me, which will happen once we've gotten our schedule to the point where it's supposed to be. Right now we're still smushing things in to get to the point where we have a long enough lead time. Um, and or me finding people I can hire to do some of those things. I've hired a decent number of people, and right now we're at the point where I need to bring in more money with the magazine before I can hire more people, because spending money that I don't have is a difficult thing to do. All right, so we have charity, we have stitch definitions and tutorials. What else would you guys like to see as far as directories on the site? I know there are others that I've had in mind that I really want to do, but I want to hear what you would like to see on there. Let me think. We had, oh, there was another. There were a couple really good ones, and now that I'm like on the spot, I should have written these down before I started talking to you. I had a little bit more faith in myself than maybe I should have. For blogs, for blog posts as well, you can let me know what you would like to see. Obviously, I would like to do more interviews, maybe guest designs, that sort of things. Um, I did post, there is one, the most recent post on the blog right now is about a production of Midsummer Night's Dream being put on currently as we speak at the theater school at DePaul University in Chicago, which is where I went for undergrad. And the forest of the Midsummer Night's Dream set is the forest foliage is crochet, which is super fun. So I did a little interview with some of the crocheting kids, and it was really cool. Um, then I have I'm going to be doing some interviews with some of the people who create the yarn that we use. So, yes, we have companies, we have yarn in the issue, in the magazine, that come from the larger companies, such as, Barocco and such. See, and that was what I thought of. Hold on, I forgot. I'll let me finish this thought first. But we also, in addition to having yarn used in our issues that are our yarn partners who are larger, such as Barocco or Cascade or Yarn Inspirations or whatever, we also have some yarn partners who are independent yarn dyers or creators. And so occasionally we might have a little interview and photos of the creation of the actual yarn used in the issue. So there's going to be a really fun one for June, because we used one of the patterns actually used this super fun yarn that is still like, the curly that it is when it comes off the sheep and stuff. It's so cool. You're gonna love it. So those will happen from time to time whenever we have one of those interviews. And then Monica, you are totally on point. That was one that I wanted to do and I haven't have written down. So upcoming festivals and such, festivals and yarn crawls. And some of this, guys, you are going to have to, like, when I have it up, I'll be like, hey, when you find out about something, let me know, and I'll toss it on the list, right? Because there's a lot more of you than there are of me, and there's a ton of these. Some of these festivals and yarn crawls are really well known, and some are very, very local. So it'll, we'll have like the really big ones kind of listed at the top, and then I'll have to do like maybe a state by state or something. We'll figure it out depending on what sort of submissions we get for that one. And we'll definitely do a find us, places that members of people from Crochet Foundry, staff members, will be at such as if we're going to Rhinebeck or we're going to the craft tour to England, that sort of thing. All right, let's see. And Sarah agrees. And so does Katrina. Nice. I love it. I can tell you that I know at least I will be going on the craft tour. So if you could just go to crafttours.com, I will be going on the craft tour with the special guest teacher is Tamara Kelly. That is going to England in October. Those tickets are going only on sale for a little while longer. I know they end at June. I think they end close to the beginning of June. I think the ticket sales end at the beginning of June. So if you want to go, buy your tickets now, before they're gone. If you got a tax return, what a fun thing to do with your tax return. Celebrate. Be like, woohoo! I got a tax return. I'm gonna go to England. And if you do get your tickets to go to the craft tour to England, you will be joining us when we go to the knitting and stitching show in London. That is like the big knitting and stitching show in that area. It's kind of like how we have like Rhinebeck and the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival and that sort of stuff. So the knitting and stitching show in England, as I understand it, is like it's kind of that thing for them. I could be totally wrong. I've never been. I've never been to the UK at all, so I definitely haven't been to London or the knitting and stitching show. So that will be great, and I am going to encourage all of our UK area designers, because we have a decent number of designers for Crochet Foundry in that area, and I'm going to encourage them to come. We'll see how many of them we can get to come on, and maybe we can have a little Crochet Foundry meetup while we're there, so that those of us on the tour can meet with the people who are not on the tour, who just happen to live nearby and come to the knitting and stitching show. That would be super fun, right? If you do get tickets to go on the Crochet Tours trip to England, then make sure to let them know that you're with Crochet Foundry. Crochet, you just signed up for a crochet retreat with Crochet with Tiffany. I do not know that one. So you can feel free to toss in a link. That is cool. And then that way I can share it, and we can see. Oh, we have another comment in Instagram. Charmed 183. Good morning, Jessie. I know who that is. I remember the name. I remember them telling me who they are, but again, picture tiny. But hello, Charmed 183, or maybe I just recognize your handle because you've been around for a while. Oh, Sarah, your tax return bought dinner at Taco Bell for your husband and you. While it's nice to get a tax return, and I do like Taco Bell every once in a while. I wish it had been bigger. But hey, at least it was a return, right? Could have been worse. She could have owed money. All right, so here we have the oh, well, that's a really easy link. So even though the links are not clickable on the screen here, I can tell you that the trip, you can find out information on the trip that Sarah was talking about at crochetwithtiffany.com/event-details. So that's pretty easy. And I bet if you just go to crochetwithtiffany.com, it'll be easy to find it there too. But then you can just put in the /event-details. So there you go. That's the one that Sarah had talked about. Good morning, Jessie and everyone. It's Sunita. Oh, Charmed 183 switched to Facebook. See, I knew you. I'm like, I know who that is. Yes, you joined us, and this is, guys, we have our Zoom live meeting today from 7 to 9. Eastern time on Zoom. You can find the link to go to it at the Crochet Foundry Makes Facebook page. Um, and yes, that's tonight from 7 to 9. And Sunita was there last week. So was Sarah. She also recognizes you. Everybody's saying hi, hi, hi. Nice. It is our Crochet Foundry Live, our Zooms, our sit and stitches are they're just very laid back and fun. Last week, during the sit and stitch, my son was doing had a dress rehearsal for the show that he does. He was doing tech for the show at the high school, moving the set back and forth and stuff. And he was done, and it was kind of rainy and a little bit dark, and I told him to give me a call if he couldn't get a ride home, because it was rainy and a little bit dark, and he had just gotten over a cold, and I didn't want him out in the rain and the cold and everything. So he texted me when he was ready to come home because he wasn't able to get a ride, and it was during the live. So I had my daughter come down here and, hang out with everybody for the whole, the school is like a half mile away. I think I was gone for like a whole 10 minutes. I come back and she has them all telling ghost stories and has like is now best friends with half of the people on the Zoom. I'm like, I was gone for 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And my daughter has taken over my business. It was very fun. So come to the lives. You never know when my daughter is going to come in and take over. And we had lots of fun crocheting. There were some questions. I love it when there's questions. I love the socialization too. But when there's questions that we can answer, that, if somebody's stuck on something or just needs a little help with the math, or, discovered a mistake in one of the patterns, that was simply like the starting chain number was wrong. Because things slip by. So it's great. I love it. I love being able to help people out, and we have a really fun time. And I call it a sit and sip because, or no, I call it a sit and stitch. I used to call them sit and sips. But I always have my water and or tea, because they tend to be later. I'm usually have tea or water, or occasionally an adult beverage, but I don't really drink adult beverages very much. So it's usually tea or water. But I do recommend a drink because we get talking and then your throat gets dry. And besides, no matter what, it's always good to hydrate, no matter what you're doing, especially now for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere where we are hitting summer here. Make sure to hydrate. Very, very important. All right. Okay, so our directories, we have a directory of places you can hello, Gwen Goods joined. She didn't say hi, but I'm saying hi anyway, because I just noticed that she was there and I know her and I like her. All right. Directories of charities, testers. We're always looking for people who can be testers for our awesome designers. Stitch definitions and such will be on the blog as we have time to get it all up there and make tutorials. We can do a directory of upcoming festivals and yarn crawls that y'all are going to have to help me fill in. We will put up a little find us where you can find various staff members of Crochet Foundry. I do not mean their home addresses, but places they are going to be where you can meet up with them and see them. Of course, on the blog, there will also be, interviews, just interesting things that I think you all might like. If you guys ever, right now, I would love any more suggestions y'all have. Hello, now Gwen said hi because I called her out. And so does Amada Awadi. And I'm not Amada. Maybe it's Amada Alawadi says hi. Hello. And I'm very sorry if I have totally butchered that name. So yeah, if you guys have anything, please go ahead, let me know here. I want to make sure that we have things on the blog that you are interested in. I know I had ideas for more directories, and this is driving me bonkers because I can't think of what the other directories I wanted to do were right now. It'll, as soon as, guys, the moment I turn this off, they will like all pop into my head. And then I'll be at the Zoom and I'll be like, I'm so annoyed with myself. I figured them all out as soon as I turned off the live. Come to the Zoom just so you can laugh at me. What else? Let's see. Oh, hold on. Let's pull this up. Will I be at the KC Yarn Couple or the DFW Fiber Fest? They're both in September, and you're trying to decide which one to do. I do not think I will be at either one of those. I haven't made plans to be at either one of those. I personally know a lot more people who travel to go to the DFW Fiber Fest than I don't know anybody nobody has ever said anything to me about traveling to go to the Casey Yarn Crawl, whereas I know a lot of people who will travel to go to the DFW Fiber Fest, which would lead me to think that the DFW Fiber Fest is maybe the better option, but it could, I mean, there's, a Fiber Fest is definitely different than a yarn crawl. But I'm not going to be at either one. If anybody else can, and we have Sarah already chimed in here, anyone else want to chime in about those? That would be awesome. Help Cindy out with deciding which one to go to. Sarah says that she's hoping to be at DFW, but with the retreat that she's going into August, she's not sure if she can swing it. DFW, okay, DFW is Dallas Fort Worth, guys. The DFW Fiber Fest would be Dallas Fort Worth. The KC Yarn Crawl, I'm going to guess, is Kansas City Yarn Crawl, which would be on the border of Kansas and I've suddenly lost, is it Minnesota? No. Crap. Kansas City is on the border of Kansas and another state, and I have totally lost my geography. Missouri. Oh my goodness. DFW is right next door in Texas for you, but you were invited by friends to the Kansas City one. Kansas City is on the border of Missouri and Kansas. Is Missouri what I said, or did I say like Montana or something silly? I'm not even sure. I knew it started with an M and it like wasn't Michigan or Massachusetts. But anyway, yeah, Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City. My husband didn't know this, and I'm always like, I don't know why like I knew it so well. It might have just been that I had a good friend in undergrad who was from Kansas City, so that I knew that Kansas City was like, there's Kansas City, Missouri, and there's Kansas City, Kansas, right? A lot of people don't know that that there is Kansas City, Missouri. They think that Kansas City is entirely in Kansas. And so like if somebody says something about Kansas City and I'll be like, oh, Missouri or Kansas, they'll be like, Kansas, it's Kansas City. I'm like, no, really, there's Kansas City and Missouri too. People are like, they look at you really funny when they don't know, because if you don't know, then it seems pretty silly to have Kansas City and Missouri, right? So like you get some really funny looks, and it's kind of fun. Like I get amused by it. Oh, look at this. I got the first two letters right. always finding the bright side of things. That's what Sarah does. Always finds the bright side. I love it. More of it is in Missouri. Kansas. Sarah says that she thinks more of Kansas City is in Missouri. Her cousin lives there on the Missouri side. And assuming you did the same thing and your hubby corrected you. Yeah. If you don't know that Kansas City straddles the border, then you really think it's weird when somebody says something about Kansas City being in Missouri, right? Um, it's just one of those amusing, goofy things. So yeah. Anyway, um, so I'm guessing. I mean, I do really enjoy yarn crawls. The New Jersey yarn crawls I do in my car because some of them can be rather far away. The New York City yarn crawl you kind of do with a really full Metro card, because some of the yarn shops can be really far away and it can get really expensive to taxi it. Although if you do it with like 3 or 4 people, if somebody isn't shy about sitting next to the driver, you can taxi it and everybody takes turns on who pays the taxi for each little time. Um, but yeah, it can I would it's there's just not it's not like a pub crawl where they're all so close together you can just walk, right? Um I don't know that I don't think I've ever done a pub crawl. I've had plenty of friends and people who do. My husband used to do a Santa pub crawl where they would all dress as Santa and run and go around the pubs like in December. Um at like the town that he grew up in, and you could walk to every single one. Um okay. There's a Hollywood, Kansas if you really want to confuse people. I love it, Katrina. That's awesome. Of course, if you really want to confuse people, you can also just say Springfield. Yeah, where do you live? Oh, I live in Springfield. Are you going to that event over in Springfield? There are if somebody wants to Google it, it would be awesome. There are more than 50 Springfields in the United States. Okay, you do that math. More than 50 Springfields in the United States. That's just wrong. Yes, and either you looked at the shops and they're not close together. I would think that I mean, I've never been to Kansas City on either side, but um, I would think you could drive it. You could, drive it. Um, the best little yarn crawl in Texas is in Austin, and San Antonio has a lot of distance between shops. Is Austin and San Antonio. The best little yarn crawl in Texas is Austin and San Antonio, and has a lot of distance between shops. I'm not sure, Sarah, how far are you from DFW? You said that you might not be able to swing it, so I don't know if that's just because it's going to be a trip. I know Texas is rather large, or I have no idea what the fee to get into to DFW is. Uh, when is the yarn crawl? It would give you an excuse to see the family. The yarn crawl, the um, Kansas City one. I think. Let me see. It sounds like yes, they are both in September. The Kansas City Yarn Crawl and the DFW Fiber Fest are both in September. Oh wait, different. That was you who said that, so you must be asking about a different yarn crawl. Oh, this one probably. Haha! Woohoo! All right. You are near Austin. Dallas Fort Worth is about 3 hours away. Sarah, I measure distance in time as well. Okay. Like, don't tell me how many miles apart something is if I'm asking you how far away it is, because I don't know if those are like side street miles or city miles. Are those miles as the bird flies, or are those miles like when you're driving it? Tell me how long it takes to get from point A to point B. So I am so with you. Okay, so Austin, DFW is about 3 hours away. Okay. Um. I know the best little yarn crawl in Texas is in late September, early October, after DFW, Dallas Fort Worth. In Texas, you can drive all day and not get out of Texas. Yeah, I used to live in Southern California. When I lived in like the LA area, I had some family who lived up in the Sacramento area, And yeah, it was like an 8-hour drive to go visit them. Like the year that I lived in California by myself, I would go there for like holidays. I went there for Thanksgiving and a couple other times. And yeah, it was like an 8-hour drive to go up there. And that wasn't even the very top to the very bottom. It was close to the top and close to the bottom, but not the very top to the very bottom. So yeah. All right. And Gwen Goods over on Instagram says that she is going to the Dallas Fort Worth Fiber Fest for the second time. And it is a fun Fiber Fest. There's also a Georgia yarn crawl in August. GA's Georgia, yes. A Georgia yarn crawl in August. So look at that. We are definitely going to have to get these all together on a file in on the blog. Anything else we want to put on the blog? Upcoming festivals and yarn crawls, where Crochet Foundry staff will be going, and you can meet up with us. Charities to crochet for, stitch definitions. I know that my friend Beth, the owner of In Tandem Zine, which is a knit online magazine. And they do have a limited print run. She and I had been talking about maybe seeing if we can find some like Airbnb around Rhinebeck. I don't know though if that's something we'd actually be able to find for this year, or if they might all be sold out already. I kind of feel like we maybe have missed the boat on this coming year. It might be something we might have to do for 25, because 24 might be like no air. There's no room at the inn. I don't know, but if we can find a decent size Airbnb aroundish Rhinebeck, we were thinking of maybe fronting the money for that, and then hoping that we can get enough people in the Crochet Foundry and In Tandem community to come, so that we get some of the money back and have fun. Yarn Armor Katrina says, save a seat for that, you're in. Awesome. Yeah, so I know we need to have that little chat again. She had brought it up right before she had brought it up while I was like in the midst of all those trips I went on, and I said, when I get back from all these trips, can we have this conversation? Because I am like, my brain was not working at that point. So let's see. Guys, I know there were other directories that we wanted to have up on the Crochet Foundry site. Like when I'm just like chatting with people, I'm like, oh, we should put up a directory for that. Oh, we should put up a directory for that. Now that I'm writing it all down so that I can actually get the directories up, I'm like, whoosh. All right, what else do y'all want on the blog, guys? You gotta tell me. If you don't say anything, I don't know. Oh man. Oh, nope, that wasn't it. I thought I saw something. We should probably put like a directory of oh, you know what I do want to put up there, just on our website in general, is I want to put a staff page, because you know what, like all the designers, they get their little bios in every magazine issue, right? But then I have people who work on almost every issue. I have tech editors and photographers and proofreaders. Yeah, I mean, there's like the one page at the beginning that just like lists all the different contributors to the magazine in addition to the designers. But I would love to have a little page about people on there, and I want to start putting in pronouns on things too. Like I do it myself, as you can see, where like my little thing says Jessie, she, her. But then I haven't been asking my designers and everybody to do that. So I want to make sure that I'm giving them the options to do that. Pinterest is really good about that. They've been ahead of everybody in doing those sorts of things. Like if you ever go to like virtually go to a Pinterest class or anything like that, whenever somebody introduces themselves, they always include their pronouns every single time. And it has been for years that they've been doing that. They are so, it's such a welcoming and inclusive atmosphere whenever I've done anything with Pinterest or, taken any of their online classes or anything like that. They have always been like so welcoming and inclusive. They're like one of the places I look to for inspiration as far as creating a really welcoming and safe community. Because that is always, always a goal of mine, to have a nice, happy, safe, welcoming community where, as long as you can follow my 2 rules, you're good to go. Rule number 1, be kind. Rule number 2, don't make me make any other rules. So, I mean, it's kind of really only like 1 rule, right? Just be nice to each other. That's all. You like to crochet? You think you might someday like to crochet? Kind of want to find out what all this crochet is about? Great. Just be nice to people. We're all good. All right, let's see. I was really counting on y'all having like more like, Jessie, we want this. Jessie, we want that. Y'all are very quiet today. What's up with that? Like, do you need some coffee? Everybody needs more caffeine. Everybody, all right, get up. Make sure your cameras are off and do a couple jumping jacks. They do classes in real. Well, they have, if you have a business account with Pinterest, if you have a business account, sometimes they'll be like a little, they're not like the kind of classes that are like you can buy the class and have it. It's more like every once in a while they'll have kind of a little like retreat or just a little workshop or something like that. And I think it might just be business members. I only had a like, I signed up for Pinterest and then almost immediately switched to a business membership. So sometimes I forget that things are only on the business side, and the like little classes, the workshops, whatever, might only be on the business side. But they're always like, you do it and then it's gone. It's not like something that you keep. So, and so I'm not entirely sure if you would know anything about them if you don't have a business account. But if you do have a business account, you will occasionally see that they're having something. And if you do have a business account, if you do see that Pinterest is having something, I do recommend it. I really do. They tend to be very informative, and they're always just fun and interesting. And let me tell you, everybody there has this really cool sense of style. It's like they all know who they are, and it's kind of fun. A directory of subscriber makes. That way you can see what others are doing with the patterns. Let me write this down. There's got to be something we can do with that. Directory of subscriber makes. So there is something we can do with that. See, makes of Crochet Foundry patterns. Yeah, that's going to require like an app or something, but there's, or even just, here's how you submit, but there's definitely something we can do with that. I love that one. The Zoom link is on Facebook. You know what, Sunita, it is on Facebook only right now, but when we get off of here, I will send like just a really quick like link only newsletter. That way I know I know not everybody is on Facebook. My husband isn't on Facebook, so like me of all people, I should know not to have something only on Facebook. And time got away from me this week. I didn't end up sending out a newsletter over the weekend. Something else I'm working on improving here, guys. I promise. Um, so I will, as soon as we're done here, I'll just send out a real quick, like, hey, don't forget, we have a live tonight. And if you aren't on Facebook, so you couldn't grab the link, here's where you can grab it. See you soon. So I will make sure to do that. But it is on, they are always on the Crochet Foundry Makes group, because there I just have one of the pinned posts in the Crochet Foundry Makes group is upcoming the upcoming Zoom sit and stitches. And I know I need to now add in June, because I try to make sure there's at least a month ahead. And I believe there's still one more in May, right? Yeah, today's the 22nd, which means there's still one more Wednesday in May. So I still, though, need to add in June, because there's only one more Wednesday in May, and I think I only have them in there through the end of May. So I need to add in June and think about July too. I think that's going to be it. You are welcome, Sunita. And go ahead and let me click on this little guy again. If you all do what I do, which as soon as this live is over, you go, oh, I know what I wanted to say. Any other suggestions? Like, I love when the suggestions that you guys have given have been absolutely fab. And of course, I am well aware that my job is to make all of you happy. I can't make everybody happy all of the time, but I definitely have a much better chance if you tell me what you want. So please go ahead and email support@crochetfoundry.com if you think of any other kinds of directories or anything like that you would like to see on the site or on the blog. If there's any other kinds of articles you would like to see on the blog, anything coming up that you're like, I would love it if you would go to this event and like write up a wrap up of it. I can't do everything, obviously. It's all going to depend on like how many magazines all of you buy and my schedule. But if I know there are things that you guys would really love to see photos and wrap ups and videos from, then I can certainly put them, higher up on my list. So just let me know all of those things, because I definitely like knowing what is going to make you happy. Okay. And hopefully I will see a bunch of you in like 6 hours from 7 to 9 Eastern on our live Zoom meeting. So as soon as I'm done here, I will send out a really quick little newsletter that just has the link for the Zoom for tonight. And I will hopefully see a bunch of you there, because we always have fun. It is 2 hours long. I do not expect everybody to be there for the full 2 hours. There are certainly people who do come for the full 2 hours, but you are welcome to come and go as you please. You are welcome to turn your video and or mic on and off as you please. We do not judge. We are a safe space. So if your background looks like not the cleanest thing in the world, I am obviously not going to judge, and neither is anybody else. All right. And we don't, if you show up in your PJs with your curlers or whatever, dude, we just want to know what you're crocheting. That's all. Just have fun. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for stopping by, and feel free to email me. All right. Bye-bye.